The moments before lighting the Hanukkah candles are a time of reflection. Before we say the blessings, we consider the story of the Maccabees and their courage to fight for religious freedom. We remember their faith in lighting the temple menorah, even when they did not have enough oil. We imagine their wonder as they watched a flame burn miraculously longer than expected. The Hanukkah rituals are worth thinking about. Why do we line up the candles in the Hanukkah menorah from right to left, but light them from left to right? Why are we careful not to blow out the candles until they have finished burning? What is the role of the shamash, the helper candle? Can our Hanukkah traditions inspire us to be more thoughtful throughout the year? In the following pages, you will find a brief reflection to read aloud just before you recite the blessings and light the Hanukkah candles. This book also offers Hanukkah basics, instructions for playing dreidel, songs, recipes, and crafts to enhance your celebration. May Light the Menorah give you the tools for meaningful family moments in the light of your menorah. Candle blessings. As we gather to say the blessings over the Hanukkah candles, the mood should be both solemn and joyful. To create this atmosphere, pause before saying the candle blessings. After the blessings, read the poem and reflection on the following pages for the corresponding night. We say 2 blessings each night when we light the Hanukkah candles.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Hanukkah.
We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who makes us holy by your mitzvot and commands us to light the Hanukkah candles.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asa nisim lavotenu bayamim hahem bazman hazeh.
We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, for the miracles which you performed for our ancestors in those days. On the first night, we add this blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechiyanu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who kept us alive and well to celebrate this special time. Once the candles are lit, it is traditional and fun to play games and sing Hanukkah songs. See the last pages of this book for suggestions. First night. On this night, we bless the first flame, the light willing to stand alone, to speak out when others stand back, to burn brightly when others are indifferent. Reflection for the first night of Hanukkah. At Hanukkah, we recall the Maccabees, the small army of determined fighters who won a battle for religious freedom against King Antiochus in the 2nd century. The holiday celebrates the courage to try even when the odds are against you. Like Judah Maccabee, who led his men against a much larger army, someone has to be strong enough to say, "This is wrong and I will do something to help." It is not easy to be first. You don't know if others will join you, and you don't know if you will succeed. But there are times in life when we need to be the first candle, to brighten the darkness the best we can, even if we must stand alone. Second night. 1 jar of oil, too small to last long. Still, the Maccabees lit the menorah, chose to display faith, not fear, and the fire they kindled continued. Reflection for the second night of Hanukkah. After their victory, the Maccabees went to Jerusalem and found the temple in ruins. They cleaned it and removed all evidence of idol worship. Then they prepared to rededicate the temple by lighting a 7-branched candelabrum known as a menorah. According to rabbinic legend, they could only find a small jar of purified oil, enough to last a single day. More oil would take 8 days to obtain. Should they put off their celebration or go ahead? The rabbis say the Maccabees chose to light the menorah rather than to allow the temple to stay in darkness for another week. They had the faith to forge ahead, to decide that it was better to have some light than none at all. To succeed, we must often do the best with what we have. Third night. The Maccabees watched with wonder, hour by hour, day by day, a flame, defying the darkness, refusing to die, and quench the faith they had battled to preserve. Reflection for the third night of Hanukkah. Every night we add another candle to the menorah, placing them from right to left. But we always kindle the flames from the left side, so the newest candle goes first. This mirrors how the Maccabees watched the miracle of the oil grow with each passing day. Imagine the wonder they felt, seeing the impossible become more and more possible. Through all 8 nights of Hanukkah, let us admire the expanding presence of light. Let us watch for miracles, large and small, in our lives. And if we see a chance to be a candle, let us be sure to add our light. Fourth night. Wicks lit from left to right, not by a match, but by a helper, who lends its flame just long enough to make sure others also have the chance to glow. Reflection for the fourth night of Hanukkah. We light the Hanukkah menorah with a shamash, or helper candle. The shamash is used to make sure the Hanukkah candles do no work. The shamash has a place on the menorah that is apart from the other candles. It is often in the middle and stands a little higher than the other candles. As we light the shamash to begin the candle lighting ceremony, let us remember all the people in our lives who serve and help us. Parents, teachers, medical professionals, librarians, police officers, firefighters, custodial workers, and others. Let us not forget to say thank you whenever we can. Fifth night. This moment is a feather-shaped flame, shining in the sacred space between yesterday and tomorrow. Look into its yellow eye and see only the light burning before you. Let everything else disappear in the dark. Reflection for the fifth night of Hanukkah. It is customary not to work while the candles in the menorah are burning. The average Hanukkah candle lasts less than an hour. Dishes or homework can wait that short time. Play dreidel or a family board game. Sit by the candles and share the events of the day. Spend these light-filled minutes focused on your loved ones. Too many of us spend our days rushing from one activity to another. May the Hanukkah lights remind us to stop and fully appreciate each flickering moment. Sixth night. A candle wick requires wax as fuel for its flame, just as the human heart requires hope, red hot at its center, to keep beating through dark times. Reflection for the sixth night of Hanukkah. Hanukkah candles should be allowed to burn until all the wax is melted. Watch the wick in the center of the flame. It can't produce light without wax serving as fuel. Hanukkah reminds us of the fuel we need to keep going through difficult or disappointing times in our lives. We need hope. We need kindness. Don't be the one to blow out someone else's dreams. Don't be the one who destroys another's faith in goodness. Just as we are instructed to let the Hanukkah candles burn without interference, let us protect the feelings of others. Sometimes that means allowing another person to enjoy more attention. Sometimes it means keeping negative thoughts to ourselves. Be careful not to say things that will extinguish someone else's smile. Seventh night. Different colors are fine, even preferred, adding beauty to the brightness. But every candle must have a pedestal the same height as the one beside it, so the joy of one does not diminish another. Reflection for the seventh night of Hanukkah. A traditional Hanukkah menorah is constructed in such a way that 8 candles can be placed in a straight row at an equal height. This means all the lights commemorating the Hanukkah miracle are level with each other, and each light has the chance to shine without interference from another. Let this remind us that every life is special. Another person's faith or perspective may not be our own. We may not have the same skin color, but no one person has more right to happiness than another. Our joy should never come at the expense of someone else. Eighth night. Don't worry if your window doesn't match your neighbor's, if his tree blinks while your candles glow. Both build a world where darkness is banished, and the lights of every faith are welcome. Reflection for the 8th night of Hanukkah. A Hanukkah menorah should be displayed in a window or by the door. Others should be able to see the candles as they pass by your house. With a visible menorah, we are publicizing the story of Hanukkah. We are celebrating faith and courage, and we are demonstrating our belief in every person's right to religious freedom. Be proud of your heritage. Shine your lights in a place where all can see. The story of Hanukkah. Over 2,000 years ago, a king named Antiochus IV Epiphanes controlled Israel. Antiochus was powerful and ruthless. He wanted all of the people under his rule to abandon their own religious practices to follow the customs of Greek culture. King Antiochus denied Jews the right to observe Shabbat, Jewish holidays, Jewish dietary laws, and other important Jewish rituals. It became dangerous for people to even identify themselves as Jewish. On the king's orders, Greek altars and idols were erected in Jewish communities. Soldiers demanded that Jews offer animal sacrifices to worship Zeus and other Greek gods. They asked prominent members of the community to renounce the Jewish dietary laws. Some Jews adopted Greek culture and religion. They changed their names to make them sound more Greek than Jewish. They stopped studying Torah and observing the Sabbath. But other Jews did not give up their heritage and religion. When asked to eat pork or worship idols, they refused. This had severe consequences. Many Jews died rather than give up the right to worship as they chose. Strong resistance rose up in the countryside, particularly in Modi'in, a town west of Jerusalem, where a priest named Mattathias lived with his 5 sons. Mattathias was well respected. The king's soldiers wanted him to be the first to step forward and show loyalty to King Antiochus. Mattathias answered loudly and clearly. He would not worship idols or forsake his faith. With his sons by his side, Mattathias fled to the mountains to organize a revolt against King Antiochus. Already an old man, Mattathias did not live to see the success of his rebellion. When he died, he turned over his leadership to his son Judah. Judah's bold fighting style earned him the nickname Maccabee, meaning hammer. Judah, his brothers, and growing band of followers waged war against Antiochus. They were called the Maccabees, and they found success through night raids and sneak attacks. Their courage fighting a large and well-equipped army inspired Jews all over the country. In one famous battle, the Maccabees even faced soldiers riding trained war elephants. In 164 BCE, after 3 years of fighting, the Maccabees gained control of the temple in Jerusalem. This was as much a spiritual victory as a military one. Now the Jews could rededicate their most sacred house of worship. The temple and its grounds were in terrible condition. The sanctuary was filthy. Ornate doors had been burned. The golden menorah that once burned with 7 branches of continuous torchlight was gone. The Maccabees tore their clothing as a sign of mourning. They wailed and wept. Then they got to work. First, they scrubbed the temple from top to bottom. They pulled weeds and made repairs. They also replaced the ceremonial items that had been stolen from the sanctuary. Some sources say the Maccabees made a makeshift menorah from iron spears. Others say a gold 7-branched lamp was created during the time they built a new altar. On the 25th of the Hebrew month of Kislev, the new menorah was lit, and the temple was rededicated. In Hebrew, the word Hanukkah means dedication. The very first Hanukkah lasted 8 days, just like the fall harvest holiday of Sukkot. During wartime, the Maccabees couldn't take a week to observe Sukkot properly, so they celebrated for 8 days during the rededication of the temple. This is the historical view of the first Hanukkah holiday. However, rabbinic tradition gives another reason for the 8-day celebration. A popular legend says the Maccabees needed oil to light the menorah. They searched the temple. All they found was 1 small cruse of sealed purified oil, only enough to last 1 day. Instead of delaying their ceremony for 8 days until more oil could be obtained, the Maccabees lit the menorah anyway. Miraculously, the small amount of oil burned for 8 full days. This legend, known as the miracle of the oil, encourages us to remember a triumph of faith along with a military conquest. When we light Hanukkah candles, we are celebrating religious freedom. We are sharing a belief that determined individuals can successfully fight for justice. Hanukkah is also called the Festival of Lights. May the light of freedom always burn brightly in our homes and in our hearts.